I'll tell you what, that chair isn't flaccid. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
No,
flaccid.
what do you mean?
You know what flaccid means?
It's flaccid. It's French.
You don't know what flaccid means? Tyler doesn't know what flaccid means.
Tyler lives flaccid. He's 35. He's as old as AP.
Beer me blazer. Okay.
Oh.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. As always, it's your boy T here.
Ooh, it's your boy, Mr. Miyagi.
It's just Anthony.
It's just Anthony.
We just got Anthony. He's got to be at not 6:45. He's got to be at 5:45. So we got to bang this out super fast. So
Dude,
we're
that's
back
hot.
again. Episode 6, Season 2. Fantasy football's right around the corner. You know, a lot of drafts are coming up. I think, what is it, week 2 in preseason?
It's about to be week 3.
Week 2 just ended.
Week 2 just ended. So, yeah, week 3's around the corner. And that's kind of when you'll actually see some of the starters play and stuff like that. But a lot of these drafts are going down this week and next week. So we're just going to jump into some news around the league and just kind of a couple hot topics that we got on our mind. So kind of just to start right out. So breaking news this week, Josh Gordon, New England Patriots wide receiver Josh Gordon, got reinstated by the NFL. He back.
Yep. That's I was kind of surprised.
I mean, it was like
It was kind of like not as big. Like I feel like last year when he got reinstated, everybody was like kind of more hyped about it. I feel like this year nobody really believes it.
Well, it's like he's supposed to be back, but I feel like they haven't like made it official. Like he can play week 1 as of now, but they haven't been like he's a lock to be back in a sense.
Yeah, I think I saw something. He's not going to play next week, week 3, and then he'll probably play game 4 of the preseason. But then obviously, you know, your starters don't play, so Tom Brady's not playing week 4 in the preseason either. So I low key, honestly, I kind of forgot about Josh Gordon. You know, so they went out and they signed Demaryius Thomas. You know, they drafted N'Keal Harry. I mean, you know, Julian Edelman's still there. I low key, honestly, I forgot about Josh Gordon. And when that broke, I was like, oh yeah, that guy's still around.
Oh yeah, no, for real.
so
Like
dang.
I mean, what? So all right, that's cool and all. Josh Gordon's back. So what? But what fantasy relevance? Like, what does it mean for you guys? Like, does it make? I think a lot of people are saying they're all about Julian Edelman. You know, I feel like sometimes when there's news in football, you kind of have to not just look at the player, but also look at, you know, what that player affects around the around other players on the same team. And I feel like you kind of can look at these other wide receivers and see what it does for them.
I think what the thing with Edelman is what it does with him is it takes away his. I think his target share is going to be relatively the same. Something I've been looking at a lot is target share. And Josh Gordon's the outside receiver. I don't think it's going to affect his. You know, let's say he's going to see 22% of the target share. I don't think he's really going to affect that. I think Gordon's going to affect these other receivers, maybe the tight end position as well. But what it does is it adds a red zone threat. So to me, it takes away Edelman's value and standard a little bit because Edelman's never been a big touchdown guy. And if you're taking him in PPR, you're not necessarily drafting him to score a ton of touchdowns. You're taking him because you know he's going to get a ton of catches and you know he's going to get have a PPR high floor. But it kind of lowers Edelman in a standard format for me if he's out there. Let's just say week 1 because Josh Gordon could take 10 touchdowns away from that could have potentially some of those could have went to Edelman.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, he's never had more than 7. Edelman, at least, he's never had more than 7 touchdowns in a game. I like Edelman though this year. I think Gordon helps him because now instead of being able to like the defenses being able to game plan against Edelman, I think now you have to kind of focus on Josh Gordon. N'Keal Harry on the outside, that's also going to help. I mean, there's no Gronk, so there's Gronk would eat up those like middle of the field kind of yardage areas and I mean, who better than Edelman right there? Quick, fast guy, short, intermediate passes. I think, this helps Edelman. As far as Josh Gordon goes, I was just looking at the ADP. He's going in like the 9th round, half point and full point PPR. I think that's only going to rise as we continue to go, right?
I think he goes in the 7th. If they say like, hey, he's ready to play, like people drafting him this week, I think this week he'll be in about the 8th or 9th. I think if we go another week and they're saying he's going to play, that's going to shoot into the 7th, probably close to that.
Yeah. So you guys are all about Julian Edelman and PPR, standard format, not so much.
Yeah, standard not so much because, like you said, he touched on it perfectly. Like his touchdown upside's not there, and I mean Josh Gordon, he'll probably will be a red zone guy. N'Keal Harry's a big body guy. He'll probably be another red zone threat. But I mean, if you're looking for a PPR guy, half point PPR guy, I think Edelman's a good value, and I love this.
Yeah, I think
news that he's coming back. So it just takes less of a focus off of him. So Edelman can just eat in the middle of the field.
More of a focus off of him.
Yeah, what did I say? Less of a focus off him?
Yeah. I know what you meant, but
That's something I want to track this year to see if these outside receivers if they actually affect these slot. Like it's a scenario where we're saying, and I know other people say this too, where it's like, maybe let's note we have this and we'll note this at the end of the year. Like when these outside receivers come in and when they're supposed to be a threat, does it actually change the slot receivers' output? Does it stay relatively the same? Does it hurt their touchdown upside? So I'm gonna try and find a few scenarios where maybe there's some trades, because there's gonna be some trades where that happens, and kind of track and see if that actually affects the slot receivers in any way.
Yeah,
right, because it could be a scenario where it doesn't. Yeah. It only affects a little bit.
Yeah,
but so, right now I would say it would affect, like, just in my thinking.
So what's your guys' stance on Josh Gordon? Are you taking a shot on him, or
what's his ADP right now?
It's in the 9th round, but I think each day, and as we get closer, it just creeps up and up and up and more. I think what did you say? He ends up like 5th, 6th round probably?
I mean, he could potentially get that high if he's guaranteed a lot.
He's just got the name, and I feel like people are like, ooh, Josh Gordon, ooh, Tom Brady, ooh, the Patriots.
Right.
Yeah. There's going to be someone in your league who probably takes him 5th, 6th round if he's guaranteed to play week 1. Yeah. But I think on average, you'll probably see him around round 7. I mean, he comes with risk no matter what, so it's... To me, if I'm taking Josh Gordon, it's my team makeup. If I have, let's just say I go running back early and I go receiver, and I'm just hitting at running backs the rest of the way, or a tight end, and I'm like, I got 2 studs, and maybe I'm taking someone else there. I'm like, why not throw a dart in Josh Gordon? Yeah. Like if he gets suspended, it's not like I'm using him as my wide receiver 2 or 1, But if maybe I'm using Josh Gordon in the flex.
Yeah.
At that point, if I can get him that late. So for me, it's going to be kind of team makeup. I mean, if he's going to be out there, he's going to perform. So I know his numbers spiked every time Gronk was out last year, and we just touched on that. Well, Gronk's retired, so if he's out there, he's gonna do some damage, and he could be top 15 receiver.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the stats when he was out there with Tom Brady. Gronk in the couple games that Gronk was hurt and he was missed. Yeah, I think the targets went up, the yardage went up, the touchdowns per game average went up. So I mean, like in these later rounds. I think you said it one time in an episode. Like once you get past like these, first couple rounds, it's kind of like what's the upside on some of these guys, because they're all kind of in that same tier.
Right.
I'm gonna take a guy like Josh Gordon who could get me, maybe 8 touchdowns out of nowhere, 1,000 yards, compared to like another guy who's maybe only 800 to 5 or 6 touchdowns upside.
Right. Yeah. Josh Gordon just kind of has a higher ceiling. It seems like.
For sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
I like kind of like just piggyback real quick. Like I like to take upside, especially after round 5. Like you hear these experts and they're like, oh, this is value. I'm like, when you go back and actually look at the ADPs, like you start hitting round 4 or 5, it's like how many of these players were actually good in that 4th round? You might have like 3. Then you go to the 5th round, it might be like 2. It's like it starts to dwindle round by round. So I like taking my shots after I have my first. My first 3-4 players. After that, I'm shooting upside.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at your roster at the end of the year, I mean, how many times is your team like completely different?
Oh, dude, for sure. We touched on that last one. My team is always.
We
way
talked
different.
about that with Trips because he trades so much, and Trips actually won it, and he had like the exact same team.
Yeah, it's probably like a rarity. It's like one in every probably like 500 times that.
But he just drafted really well. We kind of went over the players he had, and you're like he just had
hit
monsters.
on every.
And he probably like avoided injury too, which is another part of it.
You can't predict the injury, but yeah, that's it. Yeah, like no, you know me too. Like I'm very conservative in my first couple picks. Like I'm always trying to go for more of like a sure kind of guy instead of the upside or the gamble. But like I said, once you get past this, 5th, 6th, 7th round, I'm gonna shoot for the upside because those are the guys who could take you over the top and really win the league for you. So kind of speaking about some of these guys going in the first couple round, you got AB. The AB saga continues.
Jesus Christ, dude!
I feel like every day it's just another thing with AB. And
there's
nothing. Actually, today was like I think it was today or yesterday. The first positive.
It was like he was at
alert
practice.
That he was at positive. Yeah, that he was at practice.
Yeah, like which is like, oh, you did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
and he probably wasn't even fucking like he probably wasn't even there the way that he probably should be there.
Good.
I just think that I think there still is like a little bit of value with AB. But if you look at just kind of his attitude, man, like I just don't think that this dude's going to go into the year with there's always going to be something. It's not just like the helmet. I think he's just gonna find another reason to be pissed off. He's gonna not get targeted enough, or like he did in Pittsburgh. You think that it's just like, oh yeah, it was Big Ben. Yeah, I know you think Big Ben's a piece of shit, Tyler, but it turns out like obviously he's still having problems in Oakland. And if you watch, like if you've been watching Hard Knocks at all, they've been praising AB like the whole time.
Yeah,
like they haven't like talked bad about him at all. So it's like even John Gruden's like hyping him up. Meanwhile, AB's just like sitting in the back of the room. He's not even, you know what I mean? Derek Carr's like sitting right in the front, like teacher's pet and shit. You know what I mean?
Sid from Toy Story.
Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah, Sid from Toy Story is sitting there.
Honestly, it's like this is like yesterday when I heard that news, I was like, it's Sunday. Like this is just like part of me wonders if they're on Hard Knocks. So like, how much of this is like drama because he's not going to be on the field anyways because he has frostbite up until recently, and it's just shit to like make people get attention to Hard Knocks. And I was like, it's Sunday, like you're not doing an actual practice on a Sunday. It was probably some walkthrough, maybe a stretch, something like that. And I was like, if he's there on Monday, which was today, I'm like, that looks a little fishy in my eyes. From like, are they doing this to get ratings, to get people to watch Hard Knocks? And that's exactly what happened with that. So I was kind of just like. You have to wonder, like, are they playing to like try and get ratings up and this and that?
For
and
sure, yeah.
So that's why I was like, it's a Sunday.
Drama.
Yeah, they're not doing shit on a Sunday.
It could be that, but he said he did you see what he tweeted about what
he has a character.
What the NFL stands for?
No.
He put it. It wrote.
Was this really him or his publicist?
No. He put like NFL niggas for life. That's what he wrote.
AB said that?
Yeah, on Twitter.
Oh my god! So for sure, the guy on that statement was his publicist.
Dude, for sure. Yeah, dude. That's what I was saying. Did I read you that tweet?
No.
I should have screenshotted it.
He really said that? NFL, niggas for life.
Yeah.
Damn,
bro. Like he's basically saying like we're like slaves, but it's
Yeah.
like no, dude. You got like 30 million guaranteed. So.
Wait, he said it with a hard R?
No, I mean no, but
Bro,
but like that's what he was. I mean, that's what a lot of people are implying that he's saying.
Oh, like I got you. Like he's saying like you're slaves to
the owners
of the
I'll be a
league.
slave if you're gonna give me 30 million.
Yeah, but then it's not like
bro, that's a hefty amount.
I was joking.
What my ass once a day.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's just like I don't know. Just with all the drama. All that being said, I would still probably maybe if he slid like somewhere in the third round, I might take AB though.
So his ADP right now in half point in full point PPRs, he's going in like the 210. So it's like in the back of the second round, kind of like the start of the third round on that turn, depending if you're in a 12 or 10 team league. I think I was telling you this the other day too. Like I got the first pick in one of the leagues, and I've been doing some mock drafts, and he's kind of come back a couple times at that pick where you get those back-to-back picks in the second and third round if you're the first overall pick. And I've been tempted to take him. Sometimes I have, sometimes I haven't. I mean, I'm still torn on it. Like when it actually comes to draft day, if he's there, I don't know if I'll take him. And it's not because I don't like Antonio Brown. I mean, I think he's a stud. I mean, the talent is, he's one of the elite premier wide receivers in the league. That's why he got paid $30 million guaranteed. I just don't trust. It comes down to Derek Carr. I just don't trust Derek Carr. Like I know I give shit about Big Ben being a piece of shit, but you're talking about a future Hall of Fame quarterback to Sid from Toy Story.
Right.
If he's throwing toys. See, I'm like, here, let me go ahead. Mike, you have anything fast? I'm going to pull up some stats. If you have anything on that real quick.
No, I just was saying is like I might take him in the third round just because like I think that he could come out and just have like a pretty decent couple weeks, and I'm trying to use him as like trade bait and try and get rid of him because I think that he's gonna forever have problems. He's gonna have more issues, but he might show up and kind of everybody will be looking at him like, oh man, AB's back. Oh, everybody was wrong. All this stuff, but I think that throughout the season he's gonna have more issues. That something else might come up, and I'd rather have him not on my team. Now, if I have to jump on him, I'm not gonna take him.
Yeah,
I even early in the third might be too early for me. If he's like maybe 306, 307 halfway, maybe I would take him.
See, for me, it's okay. Like I was kind of like on the fence about it. You're like Tyler said, if you're one of the first picks, you're gonna have a shot at getting AB right there. And when you get to those receivers, to me, it's you're looking at. Let me switch over real quick. You're looking at Amari Cooper, Adam Thielen. Let's see where we're looking at. Sorry. Sorry, everyone listening to this. T.Y. Hilton, Keenan Allen, maybe Mike Evans. I would take Mike Evans ahead of him if
I would
he's
take
there.
T.Y. over.
I would take Brown over T.Y., over Keenan, over Thielen. I mean,
I would take him over those last three.
Keenan Allen's not a big touchdown guy. That's the deciding factor for me. And Antonio Brown can score 10-plus touchdowns. He's done it multiple years.
Yeah.
And it's just the target share he's going to get compared to, Cooper's probably not going to see 150 targets. He could, but, Brown could even touch 160. Crabtree would go for 148, 145, 2 years with Derek Carr.
Right.
And you look at Crabtree's numbers, he had 9 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, 85 receptions.
And that's Michael Crabtree,
That's Michael Crabtree.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting that on my cusp, and Antonio Brown is more talented than Michael Crabtree by you can almost say by far.
Yeah.
So in a sense you could say that's if he gets that target share, that's his floor. And if he sees 150, I mean, you're going to get a steal right there.
I feel like
top 5 receivers. Though.
I feel like right now a lot of podcasts and a lot of people are talking about AB in such a negative way that his ADP is dropping every day.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a week, I mean, hopefully if the news keeps staying negative and it keeps going down, I mean, dude, if he's in that tail end of that third round, I just feel like you have to.
I mean,
you have to take him over, like you're saying, over those guys. I would take Mike Evans over him. I would probably take T.Y. Hilton over him just because I think him and Andrew Luck, I don't give a fuck about this stupid calf injury or whatever with Luck. I think that, dude, he came out of fucking like a rebuilt rotator cuff or some shit like that last year.
I'll just say he's not going to throw the ball 60 times. He'll be fine.
Well, but you know what I mean? Like, he can't, that's a way
T.Y.
more.
won't go over 1,500 receiving yards.
So, like, I would take T.Y. Hilton over Brown, but I'll take Brown over. I'll take Brown over Thielen. I would take Brown over.
Yeah. So what's your guys' cutoff? So like right now they have him as the wide receiver 9. So they have like Tyreek Hill, Juju, Mike Evans ahead of him. Odell, all those guys obviously. And then it's AB. And then after AB, it's Keenan Allen, Thielen, T.Y., Amari Cooper, Diggs, and then Edelman and Cooks, which I feel like you're really getting kind of far away from. So it's kind of like 3 or 4 guys right there. So it's like Thielen, T.Y., Keenan Allen, and Amari Cooper. Are you taking AB over those guys? You said no to T.Y., right?
No.
You're taking T.Y.?
Yeah, I'll take Mike Evans and T.Y. over AB, but the other ones.
But Keenan Allen, Thielen, no. Cooper, no.
I'll take him over all those guys.
You're taking him over all those guys?
Well, to me, I've like
even Mike Evans.
No, not Mike Evans.
Oh yeah, he
does
wasn't on
T.Y. Hilton have a shot at finishing 1? No, he doesn't. Does Adam Thielen have a shot at finishing number 1 this year? No, he doesn't. Does Amari
That's a good
Cooper?
point.
He might. Does Antonio Brown? He has a realistic shot at finishing 1. So with that's what I look for is like, what's the range of outcomes with these guys right here? Him and Cooper are probably the only guys in those range who have a shot at finishing number 1. The other guys don't. And then the floor with those guys.
You don't think T.Y. could finish number 1?
He has troubles with touchdowns year after year.
He has never been a big touchdown guy.
I think he's maybe scored 6 is the most he's ever scored. So you would need a fluke touchdown year from him, and then he's also
Julio Jones finishes like top 3.
Julio Jones goes for like 110 catches.
Yeah, but still. But
T.Y.'s
1,500 yards.
Bro, the motherfucker Andrew Luck threw for how much last year? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But T.Y. is usually in the 80 catch range. He's not a big catch guy as well. He usually doesn't approach the 100.
Yep.
So, and then you do have to worry about Andrew Luck's calf. That's worrisome to me. At least I know that Derek Carr is going to be out there. I don't know.
Well, maybe if it's a calf injury like Kevin Durant's calf injury, then I'll be worried.
I mean, I've heard multiple doctors say that this calf injury is kind of worrisome. Like it could flare up very easily. Like I've I've heard people talk about it on Twitter.
I don't know, man. Like if I'm down for Andrew Luck last year after coming off of his fucking throwing shoulder being fucked up, I'm down with Andrew Luck having a fucked up calf.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like Big Ben's come out there with fucked up ankles and he's still played and like just kind of hobbles around and fucking makes it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Andrew Luck's probably a better quarterback in some ways.
I mean, I'm probably staying away from T.Y. at that point. Like I said, the calf scares me, and everyone can do what they want. And the Colts could have a good defense. They should have a good defense this year, actually, and they're going to be in more positive game scripts. So there might be games where they could just run the ball out legit. Right. I think with the Raiders, they're going to be in more shootouts and negative game scripts than anything, which is going to lead to them to throw more than anything. That's another thing.
You're making a solid argument, dude.
Wait, so you're saying Andrew Luck won't throw the ball 50 times a game?
Yep.
Don't say it. For me, that's tough right there. Like I said, I've been doing some mock drafts because I have the first pick, and those guys are there. And if Andrew Luck was fully healthy, I would love T.Y., and I think I might take him over A.B. at that spot. The only thing that worries me with T.Y. is Luck does have the calf injury. I think Jacoby Brissett's a good backup, but there's just a lot of options there. I mean, you got Funches, Ebron, Jack Doyle's healthy, drafted Paris Campbell, who's another field stretcher. There's just a lot of mouths to feed, and I feel like the ball could go a lot of places there. Kind of like Anthony just touched on right now. In Oakland, at least I know it's like it's AB. Like he's going to be the first in the pecking order.
That is
You would
true.
assume. And they did sign Tyrell Williams. I mean, you're hearing a lot of talk about the rookie Waller. I think his name is right, Darren Waller.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still a rookie, and we know the rookie tight ends, they don't tend to have a huge impact, in the first year. I mean, Josh Jacobs, Jalen Richard, they might get some catches here and there. But I mean, if the offense is going to run through a receiver, or or the passing game, like you just said, Crabtree, had some pretty good numbers with Derek Carr. Even though we joke around with him and Sid from Toy Story, and AB obviously is better than Crabtree. So I think this is kind of the cusp right here. I mean, Keenan Allen would be kind of tough too, but I mean, I like Keenan Allen. He's one of my favorite players, but he's just so injury prone. I mean, even now he's got the ankle injury or something like that where he's going to miss out the whole preseason. So, plus I like Mike Williams in the later rounds, and I don't want to double draft some Charger receivers there. So I think that's kind of where he goes, like kind of right behind Mike Evans, and then ahead of guys like Keenan Allen, Thielen, T.Y. Cooper, and whatnot.
Yeah, I think he's set pretty appropriately, basically, the entire saying.
Yeah.
Right. Just because there's just a lot of risk.
Yeah. If you don't want to take the risks, then don't. I mean, there is some that he has these weird, but there's a lot of guaranteed money there. When season starts, it'd be stupid for him to start sitting out. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how much money he's got saved up, and maybe he doesn't give a shit about a game or two, but I mean, it's a lot of money on the table to just sit out games because of a helmet.
Yeah, but you sent a picture in the group chat the other day. And you're like, I don't know, this guy's walking around like this. He looked like
we were talking
the gold mustache and fucking Coolio hairdo from the 90s.
Like maybe he doesn't.
That was funny. We were talking. That's so funny to give a little back history for people who are listening. We were talking about Antonio Brown just kind of over text, just about how we are now, and you made some good arguments for him. And then at the very end, you just sent the picture of him from last year with those fucking goofy ass dreads and that blonde mustache. And we're just like, well, he did walk around like this. So
if he goes out in public like this, I mean, who knows? Maybe he is sitting out some games.
For sure. That's funny. All right, boys. I think we covered up that AB.
For sure. So, yeah. So, some other news around the league. So, we got the whole Ezekiel Elliott, Melvin Gordon holdout. This is still going on. I mean, what's your guys' stance on this? Because there's been a couple drafts, like people drafting this week. There's people have already been drafting or have drafted. And then, got some drafts coming up this week and next week going forward. I was telling you the other day, like I was, we work at one of the pools here at Marquee in Las Vegas. And the guy was drafted. He drafted Melvin Gordon. They were doing a draft in my cabana.
Right.
And he was like, yo, man, like I forgot that he was suspended. And I was telling him, they were like in like the 8th round or something like that. And I was like, well, bro, you got to get Eckler. Like, make sure you cover your ass. And he's like, I'll wait a couple rounds. And I tried telling him, like, but just think about the value here. Like, who are you going to get in the 8th round that can compare to the value of an Eckler?
And I think that's below his ADP also.
Yeah, and I was like, who can you get in this round that the value will be compared to Eckler if Gordon sits out? At least now you have like a guy who you can play.
Right.
You're not getting fucked.
You got to hedge your bet. For
you got to hedge your bet. So, I mean, what's your guys' stance on this situation right here? I mean, I was looking at a good article on ESPN the other day, and they were saying that these contract holdouts are just way different than the Le'Veon Bell situation from last year. Like Le'Veon Bell was franchise tagged, and he actually had the luxury of, I guess you couldn't call it luxury because he missed out on some money, but he had the opportunity to, if he sat out the whole year, that he could become a free agent, and go wherever he wants. Where this is not the case for Melvin Gordon and Zeke.
Definitely not the case for Zeke. I know Melvin Gordon can miss some games and still become a free agent. I know Zeke. There's not shit he can do. Yeah.
So Zeke, he's still got 2 years on the contract. So if he was to sit out the whole year, then his 2-year contract would just roll over, and he would make the same amount of money in those 2 years that he would today. So there's really no reason for him to sit out. I actually think a deal gets done with Zeke, even though the whole comment came out. Jerry Jones, the backup running back Tony Pollard had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, hey, how do you feel about Tony Pollard or Zeke or something like that?" And he was like, "Zeke who?" That was not good. Did you see that?
Right. No, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I mean, that's just him I think that's just them. They drafted Tony Pollard in like the 4th round. I think they're just saying like, hey, dude, we have a replacement, and we would spend way less money having him.
Yeah, they got to stand.
I think he's just kind of trying to stand his ground. Like, hey, dude, you're not that fucking important.
Yeah, they got to stand some ground from their aspect because it's in their negotiations. They could just be like, oh no, we're nothing without Zeke. Like, they have to at least put up some kind of front. Otherwise, the agent's going to be like, oh well, I want more money.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If I'm Zeke, I'm calling Jerry Jones, and I'm like, Zeke, who? Fuck you. If you don't pay me, I'm not playing. Like, fuck you.
Right.
I mean,
Now,
you could also just be like, all right, well, have fun. I'm making your rookie contract, not $1 more, because you're mine, basically.
I mean, I don't know. If I'm Zeke, I'm like, yo, fuck you. Like, I'm pissed. Like, Zeke, who? Like,
Yeah, I'm
really?
sure.
That's how
I
you
mean,
feel?
dude,
Like,
With that, yeah.
I'm
but-
sure.
Or
I'm sure he is.
or if I'm
pissed.
like Zeke, I'm just like, you know what? All right, cool. That's cool. Like, Zeke, who? Like, maybe he's not gonna gamble on it, but just outside perspective, it's like, okay, like, all right, cool. Zeke, who? Let me play his next 2 years, and then when it comes up, he's actually a free agent. You leave. You're like, fuck you guys.
Right.
Like, a Zeke, who? All right, well, I'm gonna go play for this team, and then
Yeah, and I think-
then you keep Tony Pollard, and we'll see. Like, I get it, Tony Pollard's balling, but like I was telling somebody the other
Yeah,
day,
but it's a preseason game.
yeah, I was telling somebody the other day, like, these guys are doing good, and like, it's a good sign they're doing good. These players in the preseason right now, but they're playing against like second, third, fourth string players.
They're playing
you know?
like
they're
a
playing against the
fucking-
players who are barely about to make the roster. So it's
Yeah.
like you don't have the stud players out there. You don't have the Pro Bowl players.
Yeah,
on the
it's not
defense
really
out
like
there.
your NFL, like welcome to the NFL moment. It's,
I don't know, man. If I'm Zeke, I'm just pissed, and I want to do the most to shove it to Jerry Jones.
So yeah, I mean, with that being said, with that whole thing, are you picking up Tony Pollard in the 13th round or whatever he's going in?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
you
swooping
gotta
him
take
up.
it. You gotta have it. Even if you're not a Zeke drafter. Let's just say someone's taking Zeke in the
But
second
you
round.
might as well grab him.
Yeah, grab him, snipe him away from that guy who took him. So it's like if that guy loses, not only Zeke if he doesn't show up right away, but then you take the starting runner for the Cowboys.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like James Conner last year. I feel like a lot of people didn't think that Le'Veon Bell was gonna miss because he tweeted out like, "Don't worry, I'll be there. I'm gonna be there week 1." Blah blah blah. And James Conner got drafted in like the 12th, 13th round. Like he got drafted
I got him in
super late.
I got him in 2 leagues. I got him from I think like 9th in one and like the 11th.
What?
In the
Yeah,
other.
Who?
James Conner last year.
Oh,
He was
oh.
getting drafted super late. I
Yeah,
mean, and
super,
you had a
super.
top 10 running back. You know.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that line's going to be elite. I mean, even just looking 2 years ago, Alfred Morris ran for 4.8 yards per carry. So I mean, Tony Pollard could do some damage if Zeke does sit out on a yards per carry basis, and he showed a little bit as a receiver as well too. So
So you'd agree that if you draft Zeke, then it's a good idea to kind of like hedge your bet, like you said, with a Tony Pollard.
yeah, I think with that,
even without it.
yeah, even without it, like I said, I didn't have Le'Veon Bell in one league, and I went after James Conner purposely to just snipe that away from people, and people who lost Le'Veon Bell didn't even get Le'Veon Bell in a sense who was James Conner because I kept sniping him a couple rounds earlier.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, look at ADP, know where he's probably going to go, and if you think that Zeke's going to hold out, snipe him a few rounds early because the owner of Zeke too is going to be like, shit, I got to take him. He's
Yeah.
going to be stressing
Snipe
about
him,
it.
yeah, and
You
he's gonna
snipe him,
be-
he's going to be like, motherfucker, fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah. They're gonna be pissed.
And then you
Now-
could even trade him right there.
See, okay, so I think we're all in agreement. You kind of really have to get Tony Pollard. I always fucking saying his name wrong, but yeah, with Tony Pollard, you got to grab him. Now with Austin Eckler, and then you also got the backup Justin Jackson with the Melvin Gordon situation. I think you were telling the other guy that you were watching draft at work. You were telling him to go for Austin Eckler in the 8th round.
Yeah.
which is kind of better than his ADP. I think he's going like the 6th round right
he's
now.
going like the 6th round.
So I mean that's pretty good that he got him in that 8th round. But for me, like where if Austin Eckler's at that ADP and I'm taking Gordon, I might just grab Justin Jackson in like the 12th or 13th round just because the ADP, the value is a little bit better.
Yeah,
And I honestly think Justin Jackson is a better running back than Austin Eckler.
I'm on your side of the table. I think Justin Jackson actually takes more of the Melvin Gordon role. Than
He looked
Austin
better
Eckler does.
last year in the games that Gordon was gone.
I mean, I know it's preseason, but you can look into certain things in preseason, and the rush attempts for Justin Jackson were 8 versus Eckler's 3. They gave Eckler one chance last year to kind of be the workhorse, and he didn't do very good at it.
No.
He kind of failed. I know he got hurt like the week after that, and that's when Justin Jackson took over a little bit. But I think there's a pretty good chance that it's going to be a timeshare. It's not going to be one of these guys
Right.
going to have a full workload, but I think there's a pretty decent chance that Justin Jackson actually is more of the first and second down, and he can catch as well. And Eckler kind of almost stays in his role, but it's expanded on what he was last year.
Right.
And like you said, if you can get him with one of the last picks versus
Yeah.
taking Eckler in the 5th to 8th, and let's just say Melvin Gordon comes back in 2 weeks and you waste a 6th-round pick on Eckler, that kind
Right.
of hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you waste a 12th-round pick on Justin Jackson, you're not losing anything.
Yeah, I mean a 12th round pick isn't a waste. No matter you're like at that point, you could draft fucking my left thumb and you're getting a good value.
Yeah, so I'm
For
with
sure.
you. I probably won't be getting any Eckler, but I'll probably be getting a lot of Justin Jackson.
Let's hear your argument over here, Tyler.
Yeah, so for me, I got a couple things to touch on. So first, I just want to talk about the contract situation for Melvin Gordon. Like I touched on before, like these are different than the Le'Veon Bell situation from last season. So Melvin Gordon, I think he's got 1 year left or 2 years left. I think this is 1 year. He's got 1 year. So
Yeah, 1 year.
But it's a certain situation where, like you said, he has to play X amount of games in order to become
After
a
week
free
8.
agent. The only thing with his situation is he needs to play. If he plays the whole year, he becomes an unrestricted free agent, which is obviously better for a player in the NFL because you're unrestricted. You could do whatever you want. If he doesn't play X amount of games throughout the year, then he is now a restricted free agent, which means the Chargers kind of have like leverage when it comes to the contract situation. So if he doesn't get paid this year, but he's thinking like, okay, like if I can just stick it out this year and I ball out, like I bet on myself and I ball out, now I'm an unrestricted free agent and now I can go anywhere I want and I have zero ties to the Chargers, So that's another situation to keep an eye on. Just an interesting stat though, I did see for the whole Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson situation. In weeks 13, 14 last year when Melvin Gordon was out, the snap distribution was Austin Eckler 49, Justin Jackson 26. The next game, Austin Eckler 40, Justin Jackson 33. And then the touches between the two were that first game in week 13, Austin Eckler 18, Justin Jackson 9. And then the next week, week 14, Eckler 17, Justin Jackson 9. So doubling the touches Eckler had than Jackson. Do you think that changes though with Jackson getting a second year?
I think I just think that like
he's a rookie last year, right?
Yeah, he was a rookie.
What was his? Do you have his yards per carry with those touches or no?
Eckler or Jackson?
Eckler and or Jackson.
I'm not sure, but I also sent you another interesting one. It was like a PFF graded, and it was just talking about like, the elusive rating, the yards per carry, and the yards per target. Like Austin Eckler's grade in all like the elusive yards per carry, yards per target, all those were better than Melvin Gordon. So I think that's why the Chargers are like they're like standing pat on their offer of like, hey, we'll give you like $10 million a year, take it or leave it. Because if not, we got guys who, according to PFF, can handle the workload and they can put up the similar, if not better, numbers than you. And we got two guys we can split the load with.
I just still think I think with all that it's like I feel like Anthony said is like they were giving Austin Eckler his chances, but giving him all those touches. But I think it's just like a new year. I think Justin Jackson being there again is just like I think that they're gonna have a better time giving it to him. I don't know. I'm trying to word that.
I noticed one thing I've noticed I've started to pay attention to I think last year is. There is a difference when you're in a role, like if you're a third down back that kind of relieves the first and second back versus when you're in the starting role. There's a difference sometimes with efficiency when the players are, hey, this is like they're a third down back and they get some carries here and there. Maybe some of those carries are why they're more efficient coming 3rd and 15 and they run a draw and he picks up 10 yards. But when you're like the first and second down back, it's completely different. To touch on what Mike said, that first week, 13 carries, 21 yards, 1.6. The next week, 15 carries, 66 yards, 4.4. So he wasn't that efficient overall in those 2 weeks where he had the lion's share of the workload. And I kind of personally think that Justin Jackson's a better just pure runner.
Yeah. So that being said, Tyler, do you think you would take Austin Eckler?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up some stats real quick from last year when Eckler. I do agree with you saying like there are certain players like we've even seen like kind of off the top of my head like a Matt Breida, like he's better in like that change of pace kind of like limited touches role instead of giving him like 20 touches a game.
Right.
So I do agree with that. I think Eckler's more of like a change of pace kind of back. You can't give him a full workload, but that's where Justin Jackson comes in. They share the workload. I'm trying to pull some stats last year where I can't switch it over to the PPR because that's kind of important for him for his points wise. But I do know that last year, even with Melvin Gordon in the game, like Eckler was a valuable flex guy, week to week. Because he was, he'd break off like a 30-yard touchdown run out of nowhere or like a 30-yard reception, take it to the house. He was a serviceable player week to week, and that was with Melvin Gordon on the field, still seeing, 15 to 20 touches a game. Now, like I said, just one of those stats where he was actually getting more touches than Justin Jackson. I just think that if you draft Melvin Gordon, I get it. You're saying you could be wasting a 6th-round value. You could be wasting a 6th-round pick, drafting an Eckler or whatnot when you could be grabbing Justin Jackson later rounds. I agree with you on that. But I think you'd want to hedge your bet, like you said. For me personally, I don't think I'm be taking any shares of Melvin Gordon just because I don't want to deal with it. It's a headache. I'll let him slide. I'll let someone else deal with the dilemma of does he play, does he sign, So I'll probably just be drafting a different player, in my opinion.
I'm gonna go in one league. Just go, fucking Le'Veon, like Zeke, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon. Imagine you just have all
AJ
three.
Green.
AJ Green,
I was
yeah.
telling Tyler about that. I'm like, just draft these players who are like all these like question marks and just like,
AB, AJ Green. Imagine your team: Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, Zeke, AJ Green. God, that'd be funny as fuck.
Yeah, so this stats right here. So for the first 7 weeks when Melvin Gordon was there, you had Eckler post 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 games. He had 11 or more PPR points. I mean, that's a good flex guy right there. And you said, Melvin Gordon was a top 5, top 3 running back, I feel like, to start the season.
Yeah, the only thing I know with that is because I remember I was looking at Austin Eckler around that time. Is a lot of those weeks one big play made the week. It was like a 27-yard touchdown pass, 33-yard touchdown pass. You can't necessarily bank on those.
I just remember watching the Chargers games last year, and I would watch Eckler, and I would watch Jackson, and like watch how they run, and Jackson just looked like a better running back.
He passes the eye test when you're watching him. Like the eye, you'll see like, oh, this guy has like a lot more explosive or
Right.
his
He
cuts,
just looks
and
and he just breaks it, finds holes a little bit easier. It just seems like I mean that might be very like anecdotal evidence, but
yeah, I mean, there's probably other players I'd rather take than Austin Eckler. It's not that I dislike Austin Eckler because he definitely could see the increase in workload, but I'm probably going to take, if he's 5th, 6th round, I'm going to be taking players I know that are locked into a role for sure. I mean, you start getting into the receivers, I'd rather take Mike Williams from the same team or, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Boyd. You got O.J. Howard in this range. Some of the backs, James White, Lamar Miller, Miles Sanders, it's kind of what you're looking at in this range. I'd rather take some of those guys than roll the dice right there.
For sure, yeah.
Because the upside's not that massive. That's the only thing with that.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, so let's talk about this first round right here. You're in your draft. You're in the first round. Who's your first pick? If you're number 1 overall, who is your first pick?
Wait, I feel like we've already gone over this first pick, whatnot.
Have we?
I feel like a little bit.
I don't know. I don't think Anthony's been here for this.
My first pick.
We've touched on it, like, okay, we feel
sure.
like this, like that. But, like, what are the numbers? Like, what is your thought process on it? You got the first pick.
Who you taking, Mike?
Dude, I mean, I don't ever get the first pick, so I don't really have to worry about this. But I guess, dude, I don't know, man. It's like just fucking. I feel like I would just close my eyes and pick one, because out of those top 3, I guess Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, and Saquon.
I mean, you could throw Christian McCaffrey in there. Did you say Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Zeke, Christian McCaffrey, Barkley, and Kamara. I feel like those are like consensus.
Well, yeah,
like
but
top
Zeke
4.
without the right.
Yeah,
as
some
of
people
right
are taking
now.
McCaffrey one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I feel like
for
those are kind of like the 4 consensus. You could make an argument for either one of those guys.
Yeah, for me, it's just
you-
like, dude, I'm gonna fucking pee on a list of them, and whatever's most wet, I guess I'll fucking pick that one. I don't know, dude.
Wouldn't the whole list be wet though?
Yeah, but whatever's
you
most
miss?
wet. Dude, it was a bad analogy.
Like,
feel like you've got a sporadic
and
pee,
it's just
dog.
shooting to the left,
Yeah.
and the papers to the right.
I guess I'm picking fucking Le'Veon Bell then.
Melvin Gordon, first pick.
I'll take Travis Kelce. No,
Nice. We'll touch on that in a second.
no. I mean, dude, it's just like hard. It's hard for me to say. It's like I think they're all pretty fucking legit. I've gone back and forth on it. It's like tomorrow I'm gonna say Alvin Kamara. Am I gonna say Saquon? I don't know. It's hard for me. What about you guys? What do you feel? What's your argument?
You can go first. Ladies first.
I mean, ooh, thanks. Ooh, you're a gentleman and a scholar.
Oh my God, so cute.
I mean, for me, if Zeke was signed, it would be Zeke. I wouldn't even think about it. I would instantly take Zeke. I do think that they get a contract done, even though Jerry Jones fucked himself by saying Zeke who. I still think that a contract gets done, and once he gets signed, he would be my number 1. If he's not there, there is the risk of, the whole Le'Veon thing, and I did draft Le'Veon last year, so that's kind of like I have that bitter taste in my mouth of like, oh, do I waste my first pick on a player like that again? So I'd be hesitant. If Zeke doesn't sign, I've been leaning towards Kamara a lot just because, at that point, I feel like you're just nitpicking. I mean, some stats, though, that do make me not like it is like, Zeke had 381 touches, Barkley 352, McCaffrey 326. You know, they were 1, 2, 3 in total touches, and then you got Kamara down here at 7 total touches, 275. He was the 7th most. But at that point, it's
I
kind of
thought you were
like
saying
7 touches.
He had
No.
7 touches.
no, he ranked number 7
He
in,
was- for
in
10
total.
touchdowns.
Yeah, no. He ranked number 7 in total touches at 275.
Sure.
But at that point, it's almost like, okay, who do you want to root for? You know, like I said, fantasy football is supposed to be fun. You know, Kamara's a monster. I feel like each week he's on, you know, if you're watching Red Zone, you know, for your, you know, highlights on your phone and whatnot, I feel like every week it's like, boom, Kamara, you know. Sometimes he can
Right.
get you those 2, 3 touchdown type of weeks where they can win. I'm just not sold on Barkley. I mean, he's a good player. You know, the offense worries me if they'll struggle. I mean, he's probably going to get the touches right here is where I struggle. What do I take maybe Barkley 1 compared to Kamara if Zeke doesn't sign? Just because Barkley could see 100 more touches than Kamara. And even though maybe the efficiency isn't as good as Kamara, with 100 more touches, it's 100 more opportunities to score. And we've seen Barkley; he's a home run guy. So 100 more touches that's a lot more touches.
It's like 100 more.
It's like 100 more.
Dude, it's like a
I'm
a century.
I'm there with you on a lot of this stuff. I mean, I have Kamara 1. I'll try and make this quick. An interesting thing I heard about on Kamara is last year he didn't have a run over 25 yards. Longer than 25 yards.
Yeah.
He was like the only player, and Kamara is going to break those for sure.
Yeah.
And that was something that changed my opinion last year. And Christian McCaffrey going into before last year, so 2 years ago, is I was like, all right, Christian McCaffrey's going to see the increase in workload. Christian McCaffrey had like no home runs his rookie year, which is insane because he's a Kamara type of player. And that spiked up, and you saw his numbers shoot up a lot. Now, I think Kamara is going to touch the ball a little more this year. I know Latavius Murray's there, and he's going to have a role. By the way, people should be drafting Latavius Murray because he's going way too late. Just to touch on that really quick. He's going to play some of that Mark Ingram role. But I don't think he's the pass catcher that Mark Ingram is. If he struggles on the ground as well a little bit too, you could see Kamara shoot up. You know, even if he gets 25 to 30 more carries, I think Kamara could actually catch more passes this year. You know, given Latavius, you know, not being the pass catcher that Mark Ingram was. And with Kamara, if he breaks a few more of those runs, I think it's just going to happen this year. He's going to break a few of those longer runs because the first year he was doing it all the time. I think you see his yards per carry possibly jump back up closer to 5. His yards per catch jump back closer to, you know, maybe 9, 10. And the touchdowns for him have just came year after year versus where Barkley might be on an offense that, you know, he might only have the chance to score, you know, he might only have a couple of rushes inside the, you know, 5-yard line every game versus where Kamara is going to have all these opportunities. And that's kind of what's splitting hairs between me. And then, you know, on that same thing, me and Tyler talked about it, is he hit the home run a lot. And if he misses on some of these home runs and he gets bottled up a little bit more, I mean, he could be maybe a couple games where he's a little bit bust in a sense.
Right.
Or if he gets bottled up for 14 carries for 35 yards because he doesn't hit the home run and maybe a few catches that game. Because there was some games where I would be playing Saquon and I'd be like, oh, he only has like 7 points. I'm good. I got
like
this.
30.
And then, boom, 70-yard run. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Next play, 50-yard catch. I'm like, God damn it.
Right.
So he has that. It is who he is. So you got to expect it. But, I mean, we're splitting hairs. And then with McCaffrey, I like him there too. But I wonder if he sees the same amount of targets because once Cam Newton hurt his shoulder, he went from like the RB9 to like the RB1. And then, you know, DJ Moore is developing. Curtis Samuel's been getting a lot of buzz. He gets Greg Olsen back. I don't think he sees the same target share that he did last year with Cam Newton having his shoulder healthy back. And, you know, they're saying that we want a short yardage guy possibly. So it's kind of those little small reasons are why I have Kamara up at 1. I mean, you could if you take any 3 of those guys, I'm not blaming you because they could all finish 1 easily.
Right. What do you think, Tyler?
I mean, yeah, just kind of looking at some numbers right off the top right here. So, you know, obviously when you're in the top pick, you want to get a player who's a 3-down back. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball as well. Only 3 of those guys had over 100 or more targets. Kamara, McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley. Zeke had 95. He actually turned it on. Once they got Amari Cooper, he turned it on, and they actually started incorporating him more into the passing game. But, you know, the touchdown upside of Kamara, 18 touchdowns, I mean, what more do you want from a guy right there? It's just super Kamario. It's a good offense. It's a fuck ton of touchdowns. I'm just worried if Barkley can sustain the 121 targets, 91 receptions. I mean, let's just say, for instance, if halfway through the year, Daniel Jones, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones takes over Eli Manning because he's looked pretty good in the preseason.
Yeah. He looks better than Kyler Murray.
Let's just say that, he doesn't hyper target the running back like Eli did, because there was some games where I think Saquon Barkley had like 10, 14 catches. It was like stupid the amount of like catches he had. 16 targets one game, 12, 10, 10, 10. Just the stupid amount of targets he was getting as a running back. If Daniel Jones comes in, maybe he's not
plays like an actual quarterback.
Maybe he actually stretches the field. He actually throws to the receivers, and he's not dunking like Captain Checkdown, third and down syndrome.
Right.
Eli Manning. So
welcome to Captain Checkdown.
that worries me. Also, we saw a good stat. It was on a Pro Football Focus article. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But you remember off the top of your head? Did you touch on it actually?
Yeah, like, what's the C on your chest for? Captain Check. I'm Captain Checkdown.
Bro, did you see that? Did you see that Instagram post of Daniel Jones and Eli Manning right next to each other? And they're like, dude, they literally drafted Eli Manning 2.0, and it was like they said something on the fucking mic, and then they both like looked down at the same time and then looked back up. It was like the same meme as the Josh McCown one
and
from back
Sam
in the
Darnold
day.
last year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing, but it's so funny.
So yeah, just one of the stats I saw. It's on Pro Football Focus. I mean, obviously you can skew the stats in any way you want to make it sound, but just on Saquon Barkley, just talking about how he had 640 of his yards came on just 16 carries. That's a lot of yards on just 16 carries. So 16 of those carries went for 20 more yards. He had 640 yards. They were saying if you took those away on all the other runs that he had throughout the year, he only averaged 2.7 yards per carry, which would have been the worst out of 256 running backs since Pro Football Focus had been monitoring these stats. So, I mean, I get it. He's a home run guy. That is who he is. I know you touched on it last year. He does a lot of dancing behind the line of scrimmage, but he does hit those home runs. But it's almost like if you take away half of those carries, there's some regression. I mean, 640 yards on just 16 carries. That's
probably half his yards.
That's stupid. Yeah, that's a good chunk. It's at least third of his total yards
What did he
on
rush
just
for?
16 touches.
That might have been even if just some of those aren't as big of home runs. They're a little bit shorter.
I mean, he ran for 1,300 yards. So 640. He ran for 1,300 yards on 260 touches, 261 actually, but he got 640 yards, rushing yards, on 16 of those. So the 245 other rushes, he got like 700 yards.
That's not good.
That's not good.
I think Mike could do better than that.
So that worries me.
Tyler can't though.
The target
You're faster, that's
in
why.
reception total regression worries me. Honestly, I think I'd have McCaffrey ahead of Barkley. If like Kamara wasn't there and it was like, okay, who are you taking, Barkley or McCaffrey? I think I'd maybe take McCaffrey.
Yeah, I think I had. I'm kind of like floating my rankings around. I have McCaffrey actually ahead of Barkley as well.
Yeah. So just some interesting stuff right there.
Yeah, I'll just go back and still say what I said when we opened this conversation about these guys. It don't matter. They're all good.
Yeah,
They're all pretty fucking good, dude.
You're pretty much getting a top 5 running back. So
Right.
You're like nitpicking. Like if you want, I mean, Saquon probably has the most talent. I think McCaffrey has the lowest floor of the three, and I'd probably say either Saquon or Kamara has the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably even say Saquon has the highest ceiling just because could see the most touches. So, if you want to play for the ceiling, you can go with Saquon. It's all like Mike said. Pick who you want.
If Zeke signs though, you taking Kamara or Zeke?
Zeke, hands down.
Zeke,
Not even close.
Hey Zeke,
Yeah.
why don't you do us a favor?
Fucking sign.
Number one pick, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I think we said that. I said that last year too, or last episode.
All right, so sticking in the first round right here, I've kind of just we always at home, we're always just bullshit. We're always talking fantasy football. So I've kind of been talking to you guys about if you're in this later round, if you're in a 12-team league, you got that 10th, 11th, 12th pick. I just kept telling you guys can you justify taking Travis Kelce in the first round? I mean, because once you get past those first 5, maybe 6 running backs, I think my rankings go wide receiver heavy right there. And once you get into those back, 10 to 15 range, I guess you would call it.
Listen, Tyler, I do know, but listen.
What do you guys think? Can you justify taking Travis Kelce in the first round, the back end of the first round?
I could see it. I mean, dude.
Or are you like grabbing a receiver or running back? And
I've
then
been thinking
maybe if he
about-
falls to you.
I
you
think
grab him.
I have the 12th pick in a league, and I've been thinking about. I think we talked about it with Trips on the last episode. We talked about how he's talked about how he wanted to take. He didn't think
Beer
about that.
helmet
You got to balance it, dude.
This is the beer helmet right here. So
Sorry,
Yeah,
Mike.
do you want
This
to
is a
announce real quick? You want to announce the
new
beer helmet?
addition to season 2 Average Bros Fantasy Football. So we got the beer bet helmet. We're making beer bets. If you're new to the podcast, it's we do beer bets. So if we disagree on something, you got to slam a beer.
Yeah, you lose.
We'll do a beer bet.
You gotta do
So
one of these.
this is the official beer bet helmet. You got to throw that bad boy on.
Okay, so that we've decided the
chug it.
rules. We quickly decided them before we started recording. Is that
I was getting thirsty.
I
Fool
burped
already
for
just
you.
chugged the beer, dog. Like
Oh,
the
hell.
beer
I lost
bet.
a beer bet.
Oh, hell yeah. No, but listen, so we made the rules. So these are the beer bet rules. And I think you guys agree, is if you lose a beer bet, you have to wear the beer bet helmet the entire episode. You have to finish. How about a beer bet counts as 2 beers? I think
But you have
that's.
to try and drink it through the face mask.
No, it has straws, dude.
Oh,
It has a straw that goes right into your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't finish your beers by the end of the podcast, you have to slam another beer.
it's like the dude
At the
from Happy
very
Gilmore.
end.
Isn't that who wears the beer helmet, or is that what's this Adam Sandler movie?
Waterboy.
Waterboy, yeah.
I said Joe Montana.
Okay, but listen, do you guys agree with those rules for the beer bet helmet?
Sure, dude. Don't threaten me with a good time. I'll chug a beer. This will just kill the beer in 2 seconds.
Like,
Nah, dude, it was like 4.
It was kind of long
It
actually.
was like 7, maybe.
Well, because I was at a weird angle because my chair doesn't bend back and the mic was right here, so
Yeah,
couldn't,
I don't. That is like
couldn't elongate my throat and I couldn't pelican
that's the most
it.
uncomfortable.
Dude, that's a
fucking
stiff
chair.
ass chair. I think it's sponsored by Extends.
That chair is stiff as fuck, dude. I'll tell you what, that chair isn't flaccid. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
No, what do you mean?
You know what flaccid means?
It's flaccid. It's French.
Do you not? You don't know what flaccid means? Tyler doesn't know what flaccid means.
Tyler lives flaccid. He's 35. He's as old as AP.
Hey, bro. Honestly, if AP is running like a savage
Dude,
on that
you
preseason
not-
game. I know it's preseason, but he looks
Bro,
good.
don't
still.
change the subject, dog. You don't know what flaccid means. And listen,
Flaccid, limp, soft.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Fucking pussy. Don't ever insult
Who
my
is-
You know what that
innocence.
reminded me of is I used to have my my alcoholic Craigslist roommate. He would drink a bottle of whiskey every day, and he woke up in the morning. He's like, "Oh, I got heart palpitations," and I remember I told him I was like, "Oh, dude, yeah, you just need a hair of the dog," and he was like, "What?" I go, "Yeah, you need the hair of the dog." You guys know what hair of the dog means?
Yeah.
No, see, I don't know what that means
You don't?
because I'm not an idiot.
Or
No,
not
okay,
both.
hair of the dog. Okay. But yeah, he's like an alcoholic who would drink a bottle of whiskey every day. He didn't know what hair of the dog meant.
I don't know what that means either, and I drink every day.
Yeah, okay. Well, hair of the dog means
I know what it means, but I don't know why the phrase like.
I don't get it either. But it's like it's having a beer after you're hungover to like break your hangover. It's like it's called the hair of the dog. You're having like a shot.
Yeah, because you're like you're like coming down, and then you just go, give it a little pause, and then you start to slowly decline.
Yeah, that's
Hair
not hot.
of the dog.
Yeah, it's a fucking term. But like this fool is in his 40s and he was an alcoholic. He had been drinking a bottle of whiskey every day for like fucking 5 years. At
Whiskey
the time.
Rob?
Yeah, Whiskey Rob. Shout out Whiskey Rob. Anyways, let's go back to Travis Kelce.
All right, so Travis Kelce.
Great segue, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Great, so yeah, there you go.
was
Way to
smooth.
stay on track, dude. Remember the notes? Good job.
Yep,
Yeah, right there.
right
Right,
there.
yeah, right there.
Yep.
Right, there.
Right
Right
there.
underneath the AB Saga. Who's number 1 pick? Hair of the dog. Whiskey Rob.
Good.
All
I'm
right.
on top of it.
Kelce in the first round? Question mark.
Okay, yes.
All right. So what do you think? So I mean, one thing I was saying to you guys is that.
Mike was trying to talk, and you're like, "Well, what do you think?"
Oh, well, I don't know. He's talking about Whiskey Rob and flaccid dicks.
And
I mean, dude, when do we not talk about flaccid dicks on this podcast?
I mean, when do you
Anyways,
not talk about dicks on the podcast?
Listen, dude, I never do. Here's the thing. Kelsey's got about like 7 inches of height on every other tight end. What's happening? What? He's got like 7 inches of height on every other tight end. So what are you guys?
because that's
No.
like where the conversation
Oh,
was, and
no.
then you're like, we're
Oh.
literally just saying, "No, you talk about dicks all the time," and you're like, "Kelsey's got like 7 inches," and you paused.
Yeah,
like,
no, dude, I was fucking doing a bit. God damn it. Anyways, no, I would take him in the fucking. I would take him like 12 overall, maybe. I would take him on that
I think we just
201.
got to you. So if we made you laugh like that in a draft, you would panic pick, and you would definitely take him.
Oh, for sure. He's for sure panicking right now.
No, I would take a 201 probably.
I mean,
maybe.
Gronk was considered by like this is before we actually did research, but by like all the experts. Like there was times where Gronk was considered a like top like I want to even say 5 pick, 6 pick.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like, and I think the Pat Mahomes Kelce is like almost a better duo than Brady and Gronk. I mean, not really because they won a bunch of Super Bowls.
Yeah. I mean, well, Kelce has a little more catch up side than Gronk did. I know Gronk would score like 15, 16 touchdowns, but if Mahomes is going to throw, a fuck ton of touchdowns again with 2 Fs and 3 H's, it wouldn't be unrealistic to see Kelce score maybe 14, 15 touchdowns in a season. The NFL is different now with the passing rules, all this. I mean, maybe Mahomes is regularly a 40 touchdown guy. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
He could be like year after year a 40 plus touchdown guy.
Right.
And that defense, I don't think got any better. So I know you looked at the stat. What did he finish like the wide receiver 7 last year or something like that?
So he finished in half point and full point PPR. He finished as the 9th best overall player. So that's like running backs, wide receivers, minus quarterbacks, obviously.
So if you look at
tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, he finished as the 9th best player overall in PPR and half point PPR.
So if you're looking at that, then
top 10 player.
Why the fuck not take him in the first round? I mean, obviously don't take him like 5th. Like obviously that might be his. But I don't even think that's his. It might be his ceiling, actually. Yeah.
Well,
how many touchdowns did he have?
10.
10. And he could score more.
And I think, like you just touched on, I think there could be a
So
year where
that's
he
not-
scores
I mean, that's-
15 touchdowns.
That's not even his ceiling. His ceiling could be even more than that.
It could be even higher than that. Yeah, I mean, if he
so
scores
he could
15
finish top 5 overall.
Players. And
Yeah.
that's where it comes down to. It's like, yeah, you're taking Kelce there. So it's like, let's just say you take the wide receiver 6. Like the difference from the wide receiver 6 to the wide receiver, let's just say like 18 or something like that. It might only be like 3 points per game.
Yeah.
But the difference between Travis Kelce and the tight end, maybe even like 5 or 6, could be a full 7 or 8 points. I mean, you could have a drastic advantage when it comes to having Travis Kelce in your tight end spot. He's basically a receiver. Like he could, in a sense, maybe be the wide receiver 2. You hit on a little bit receiver later. You take another receiver. You'll end up having to go deeper on receiver if that happens, because you'll probably take a running back right there more than likely. But yeah, I mean the points you're gonna get in that gap, and I mean on a given week you could have him go off for 30 points and the opponent tight end goes off for 3. Yeah. I mean right there alone, that guy has to make up 27 points, and that's not easy.
No.
And if you have a quarterback that can put up some big numbers too, let's just say you get lucky and maybe even stack Kelce and Mahomes somehow.
Yeah.
And you have a massive week.
Which means
that's
you have
a lot
like
of,
no running back and wide receiver to like the 4th round.
That's
basically.
a lot of ground to make up. I mean, think about it. If you have 2 running backs that outscore by 10 each, you still have like 7, 8 points to make up, and that's just one position.
Yeah.
He just offers so much. Other than over any position, he offers so much of a point gap that it's like insane, because tight ends are, I mean, outside of maybe 5 or 6 of them, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
You can plug and play a receiver that gets you 10 points, and you're still going against Juju, who maybe gets 18, and that gap's not that crazy. But you can't just pick up a tight end who's going to go in there and put up like 10 points in a week. You're just hoping
Unless you
for
pull
something.
a Kittle from last year.
Yeah.
I mean, not really though. Even then, you're not going to get the same.
Yeah. So to touch on that, like you just said, just some good stats. There's a good Pro Football Focus article. They do like 3 stats on each team, and there's really some good stats on this one. But they're touching on Kelce here. They said last year he scored 295 points. That's the 4th most by any tight end ever, like in the NFL. And like kind of just touching on what Anthony just said right here. So last season, Kelce outscored the number 6 tight end. So you're not thinking that's not too far. The number 1 receiver to the number 6 receiver is probably very minimal point differential, But from Kelce as the number 1 tight end to the number 6 tight end, he averaged 8 more points per game than the number 6 tight end. An instant huge advantage. And like you just said right now, the receiver differential, for perspective, that's a larger differential between Tyreek Hill, who finished as the wide receiver 1 in some leagues, and D.D. Westbrook, who was the 32nd wide receiver. So the point differential, between Kelce and the 6th best tight end was better than Tyreek Hill as the 1 receiver, and D.D. Westbrook ranked 32.
See, dude, I'm like a Pro Football Focus over here.
Dude, he really is.
I don't even need that.
And it's just a huge advantage right off the jump. And I mean, throughout the season, you'll pick up studs. I mean, last year, bro, you got like Justin Jackson, a couple of the crazy Damian Williams, off the top of my head. These running backs out of nowhere who were in weeks 12, 13, 14, 15, were helping people win championships. Jalen Samuels, was in there. You always have receivers you'll find off the waiver wire. But to draft the guy in the first round at the tight end spot, and you instantly just have like an advantage week to week over everybody. I mean, I think Kittle he'd be my second ranked tight end because I think Zach Ertz has some regression with all the weapons they have in Philadelphia. But I mean, after that, I mean, you got Evan Ingram, OJ Howard. I mean, I'm big on the Van stance this year. But besides that, to have an advantage of, like say if it's you got Kelce and I got like Jack Doyle, or I mean, I don't even know who to think of right now.
Fucked.
You're fucked. You instantly like
Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, like honestly, like I like to do like streaming tight ends sometimes, but to have a Kelce against someone like that, you're instantly starting your week out at a massive advantage.
Yeah. Especially you got him on a Thursday night game, dude. A Pat Mahomes show, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I mean, he did last year. Just some more stats on him. Why I think you could take him. Dude, I love Kelce this year. Like I love him. So just some more stats on Kelce right here.
We all decided it's worth taking him in the first round.
Here's
more reasons why.
More reasons, dog. More reasons. So last year he finished 10th in the league in total receiving yards and 10th in most receptions. I mean, so like I said, this. He's basically a wide receiver one. I think he's the wide receiver one in Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill has some regression this year going forward. But, I mean, 150 targets, 103 receptions, 1,300 receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns. And like we said, I think, the opportunity for him to get more than 10 touchdowns this year, it's a good opportunity. So, yeah, I love it. All in on Kelce.
I mean, unlike Gronk, he's been pretty healthy for the most part.
Yeah, I think he's only missed. I think I saw something that he's only missed 3 games in his entire career.
That's another thing.
So,
wow, they call him Mini Gronk. He gets really mad if you call him Mini Gronk.
They call him Zeus. Yeah,
Zeus.
I guess people used to call him Mini Gronk, and he would get very annoyed.
Yeah, I'd give it to.
Like, I'm my own fucking
Dude, I'm
person.
the first pick, dog.
First pick overall. I did a custom. This is really quick. So I did for the FFPC because I'm doing it too also this year, and I did a mock draft with the tight end position with a 1.5 PPR points per reception, and Kelce went second overall.
I mean,
in
the FFPC, he's for sure going in the first round.
The first 3, probably.
But that's right. And it was him, Ertz, and Kittle all went in the first round.
Yeah, because it's like he's basically, instead of getting 100 catches or whatever, 103, it's basically he has 150 catches.
150 catches.
Right.
So it's like it's like nuts.
Stupid. He is the wide receiver one. Once you get past those running backs, I guess if maybe those top 4.
Yeah, there you
maybe
get
it's top 4. I don't even know if you go top 5. Like, because once you get to like a Le'Veon, James Conner, Cook,
for me to be after the top,
David Johnson. Like once you get past those top 4 running backs, Kelce would be my first player.
I take him over David Johnson. That line is scaring the shit out of me.
He would be my 5th best player in a 1.5 PPR.
Yeah, let's see how
like you just said 100 receptions, basically 150 points.
Yeah.
Not 100 points, 150 points.
Touch on that really quick. You know who loves David Johnson?
Yeah, boy.
The boy, the counselor. Okay, fucking loser.
Dude, that line looks so bad, bro. Like, I'm like, there's not a lot of things you can like really get from preseason, but one of the things I've noticed from preseason is like, when I've watched the Cardinals line, like I'm like, dude, this is gonna be. Now Tyler Murray's fast and he can move. He might get lit up a few times.
Well, I mean, look at Deshaun Watson when he first came in. Like, dude, the dude was a stud. But it was so you felt bad for the guy because he was just every play just like hike and he's just scrambling to fucking make something happen.
He got sacked like 60-something times last year. I mean, I'm pretty sure Deshaun Watson's a lot bigger than Kyler Murray. I want to say just up ahead.
Dude, Kyler Murray's like 5'8", dude.
Yeah, he's like my size.
Yeah, I mean, like, no offense, but
jacked,
dude, like,
but I would get fucked up
no offense in the NFL, dude, and you got fucking guys like that big baby fool from the Jets coming after you, dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary as fuck, dude. I mean, obviously, tall quarterbacks they just work. I.e., Mike Glennon. I.e., Brock Osweiler. But
dude, you're fucking wicked smart, bro.
I'm out here with the science.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stand up for like I'll be quick about it, but like I was kind of high on Kyler Murray, and I was starting to grow on David Johnson. But seeing how bad that line's been, this week 3 will tell a lot. Like because the starter's gonna be out for the most of the time. I'm kind of a little worried, and like about like drafting David Johnson as high as he's going, and Kyler Murray about as high as he's going too. There's other quarterbacks I would take. Like when we were doing that mock draft, I was either him or Wentz, and I'm definitely going Wentz at this point after seeing that line.
Right.
It's just like if they can't keep the defenders off him, and this offense isn't going to work the way it needs to.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
What are we looking at time-wise right here?
We're about at an hour right now.
Just want to cut it? We can touch on this other stuff later, or you want to keep going?
What else do we have left? Yeah, we can do that. We can cut it right here.
Like players we
that's
like,
cool.
dislike, sleepers
Yeah,
like
we can
that.
do that
We
separate.
touch on that in the next episode because I
Yeah,
feel like
that's
that
cool.
could get really in depth as well.
For sure. Okay, yeah.
Maybe we could do a whole episode where we
Just
talk
do
about
those
dislike,
ones.
like and
Yeah, because
so-
I
All
got a
with
lot
that.
of players in each round.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
And like me, I have like a do not draft list. I know Anthony's not like that, but like
No,
there's certain players
I'm
that
coming
just,
around
yeah.
to like a. Well, it's like I do not draft. The reason I say do not draft him is because like I won't draft him. Like I'll have like a four like let's just say like Le'Veon Bell. Like I'm never gonna get Le'Veon Bell. Would I draft him? Yeah, if he falls to like 208.
Yeah.
But I'm never gonna get him because it's like
It's just not
he's
going to
going
come
first.
He's never
round.
gonna fall to 208.
I mean, he could, dude. I got Melvin Gordon late in the second round. I got him like 207.
Oh, saying Le'Veon.
No, but I'm saying last year I got Melvin Gordon 207.
Yeah, I mean you never know.
It could happen, and that's like a league with some people who are pretty fucking
Yeah.
like on top of it too.
It's like
Are
there's
they
players like
though?
Though, I mean, some of them. It was like some of them really knew what they were doing, and then some of them really did not know what they were doing. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like a good mix.
because that happened a couple of years. Well, maybe kind of like think that happened a couple of years ago where it was like there was someone where it was like no one was like I was like I'm not like I kind of like I'm not drafting this guy. I was like fuck it, and then he just kept falling and falling and falling and falling and falling, and I was like you know what fuck it, and I took him and he ended up like being like a running back 2 or something like that. I can't remember who it was. It was probably like 3-4 years ago.
Right.
That's why it's like I don't really necessarily write anyone off, but there's a point where it's like. All right, like at this point, like the value was like I knew he was going to touch the ball X amount of times, and it's like he ended up being like a really he ended up being like a steal.
Right.
For sure.
All right. Well, let's just end that episode here. This is episode 6 of the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast.
Season 2.
Season 2. We appreciate you for listening.
And another thing about Kelce,
Another shout out, Kelce, real quick.
After this, dude, I'm
Tyler's
drafting
gonna make his
him,
own
man.
hour episode on Travis Kelce.
Oh, dude. Check out
Episode
the
7.
Instagram. I'm about to post it. I'm about to do a post. Kelsey.
Kelce, baby.
I love it, dude.
Listen. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys. Please leave us a rate and a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Do that. That fucking helps us out a lot. We actually been saying that more and more, and we got a couple more reviews. We have like fucking, I think like 8 or 10 or
Oh,
something
dude,
like
we
that.
5 stars still?
But all of them were 5 stars, so that's awesome. Yeah,
Hey, 5 stars.
dude, 5 stars.
Ninja star.
Here,
5
you
star.
have a 5 star. I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyways, thanks for listening. We're on Instagram, AverageBros_fantasy football. We'll keep you all updated there. Check us out on Twitter, AverageBrosFFP. We're probably gonna do a live stream for our draft. I think we were talking about it briefly, but keep posted for that, I suppose. And then what else we got? We're doing a Marlon Mack giveaway. I know we keep fucking slipping on it, but
I
hey,
think we're waiting for the season to start. Is what it is.
keep your eyes peeled, dude.
Yeah.
Keep those eyes open.
I don't know if anyone can see what you're doing, but all right.
Yeah, if you're check us out on YouTube if you want to see what I just did right there. It's pretty fucking cool. Not gonna lie. Don't you guys think?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I got for you today, big boys.
No, I don't.
That's that Bill Burr. I gotta clip that and throw that in there. That'd be funny as fuck.
Pick
All right.
them up.
Pick 'em up. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.
Deuces.